Hello, this is Dave Gimberline, and today is February 1st of 2021, and welcome to today's training session. This is primarily the University of Minnesota Shotokan Karate Club, but we're sort of in between, actual classes, so I'm trying to encourage more people to come. I am glad that Stuart's here. I know that a couple more people are going to log on, but we'll just start. Feet together, right? And pick up one foot, go around with your ankle and toes, switch other way, other foot, other way, feet together, around with your knees, other way, feet apart, around with your hips, switch, there, Rachel. Use your legs, pump your arms around. Switch. Across. Twist, look behind you. Take nice deep breaths. And stop, kick up your heels. One foot in front, swing your back leg up to hit your hands. One, swing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Switch feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Switch feet, kick a little harder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Switch feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And squat. Put your hands on the floor, straighten your legs. Squat, straighten, squat, straighten, squat, straighten, and squat. Put your feet out behind you. Arch. Breathe in deep through your nose and out through your mouth. Pushing back, touch your chest to the floor, stretch your shoulders, your back, your neck. Forward again. Pull your feet in, squatting. Feet apart, Kiba. Stretching down and forward. Back, forward, back, forward, back, reach over one shoulder, switch, side, switch, around, switch. Turn facing this way. Your right probably. Twist facing the other way. Twist. Stretching deeper. Ball your foot. Drop your hip. Reach up. Open the arms like you're holding a giant ball. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Twist, look over your right shoulder. Touch your head to the floor by your front foot. Straighten your leg. Stretch down. Other way. Thrusting deep. Follow your foot. Drop your hip. Reach up. Open the arms. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Twist. Look over your left shoulder. Touch your head to the floor by your front foot. Straighten your leg. Stretch down. Shift from one side to the other. Drop down on one side, straight leg squat. Switch, 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 and switch. Stay on this side. Rotate all the way over so the outside of your hip stretches down towards the floor. And back, and over, and back, over, and back. Switch. All the way over. Stretch the outside of your thigh. Back. Over. Back. Over. Back. Over. And back. Pull your feet in. Squatting. Straighten your legs and stretch down. Roll up. Round with your hip. Switch. Side, side. Squeeze one knee up into your chest. Switch. 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 And switch. Reach around behind. Grab an ankle. Switch. Switch. And switch. Shake out your legs. Turn to your uniforms. Here we go. Feet together. Wow. Feet apart. Left arm, left leg forward. Gain but I. I'll be a mirror. Aye. Counter punch out. Use your feet. Twist your hip. Jabbing face. 1. Counter punch body. 2. 1. 2. 1. 2. 1. 2. 1. 2. 1. 2. 1. 2. 1. 2. Switch hands, switch feet, other side. Jabbing face. 1. 2. 1. 2. 1. 2. 1. 2. 1. 2. 1. 2. 1. 2. 1. 2. 1. 2. 1. 2. Yep, you can shake out your legs just a little bit. We're still kind of warming up. So try, when you're making shock with your legs, to drive straight for the target. So it has often been compared to having a pencil, which this is not, between your hands, and you roll your hands back and forth in a straight line, and the pencil spins. Okay? So these are the pencil moving straight forward and straight back. Your spine is the spinning part. Okay, so everybody does that kind of, so that's good. The one thing I want to say is that every time you do that, there should be a forward feeling. And one way to accomplish that is to decide where your hip is going to pivot. So when you jab, I want you to think that your back shoulder, in this case my right shoulder and right hip, are going to stay there in space as my body rotates forward to hit the target. And then my left shoulder and left hip do not come back and push me backwards. Instead, I establish that this is now my center of rotation, and I'm going to slam forward into there. So this goes forward, forward, forward every time, and it seems like it's not possible, but you have to strive. For every time you rotate, you're driving into the target. Try again. Left leg forward, counter punch out. Nice, straight, tall body. Pull your drawing arm down through your center, but leave your right hip and right shoulder there as your body rotates forward. One. Now leave your left hip and left shoulder there as your body rotates forward. Two. One, forward. Two, forward. One, forward. Two, forward. One, two, one, two. Everybody's doing excellent. Switch hands and feet, other side. So you may have noticed that if you do this once in a while, it's going to feel like you're slightly off balance forward. So you're used to kind of going like this, and now I told you to leave this here, and it feels like you're going to fall forward on your face. That's okay for a while. You still want the forward feeling. Some people talk about this like the hinge of a door. This is the hinge. The door is going to slam forward to meet the hinge. Now this is the hinge. The door flies away, spinning. So there's just one side each time. So I believe your left hand left foot and right hand are out. Am I right? No. That's the way we were. So then switch. So your right foot's in front and your left hand's up. Sorry. Jabbing face. One, drive. Counter punch body. Two. One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, one, two. All right, switch hands, switch feet, other side. Two punches, one count, head, stomach. One, head, stomach. Two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10. All right, wait for just a second. Everybody's doing okay. I didn't really talk very much about your drawing arm because I do that a lot, but yet I find that I need to mention it now. Your drawing arm, you can pretend like you're hanging on to something here, a handle. Your body center, your hips are going to pull, 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 and that's going to drive you out to the target, that pull. There's a continuous pull, and then when you get there, it squeezes in tight. So as you do this, maybe try to think pull, 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 because some of you look like maybe there's a break, hey, there's a dead spot in the middle of the turn. So if you just emphasize this drawing arm and squeezing together, it will tend to go away. James, don't let your shoulder go back so far. It stays on the front half of your body, remember? A little bit better. Here we go. Same side, which is what? Our left leg is forward. 2 punches. 1, pull, pull. 2, pull, pull. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Everybody key on the counter punch. Ready? Switch feet, switch hands on the side forward. So, I don't suppose you want me to tell you about the days when we used to do 1,000 punches and 500 kicks. It was kind of a regular thing. Wouldn't say I enjoyed it, but we did it. Anyway, this was just 50 or so, not very many. Counter punch out, nice straight tall posture. Pull, pull. 1, pull, pull. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, pull, pull. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Use your legs. 5. Spin, spin. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Key on the punch. Ready? 8. Look straight ahead. I rest. So 2 things I noticed. Stuart, try to imagine that every time you punch, your center is reaching for the target. And if you can, make it come from under here. So sometimes I feel like you punch and it's kind of dominated by your shoulder and upper body and not as much as it could have been from here. So mostly just change how you think. James. So I did talk about this earlier for everybody. One mistake that the majority of the Japanese karate organizations made, and for that matter Okinawan ones, was the whole straight back leg idea. When you lock out your back leg, it makes it not very useful. It's just this stuck, stiff thing. And it puts a nasty arch in your back. So if you hit something, that shock goes to here, and with a little bit of bend, you can keep the pressure down here in the muscle mass where it can absorb the impact. So to the best of your ability, when you're talking about your hips, start thinking about the bottom part of the joint here, way down here, underneath your butt cheeks. There are many other ways to talk about that, and a way that I came up with lately like the last 10 years or so, is that you want your legs to always be useful. So anybody that, and they lock out their legs and they lock out their arm, they're not useful. They're not really transferring in energy. They can't switch directions. Half the time if they hit something, they bounce off, unless they happen to be a very large, strong guy. So don't lock out your joints. Keep them bent, just slightly bent. Not locked, not bent a lot, just enough that you can still feel like your ankles and your knees and hips are soft and can be utilized, can be moved. So, yep. I want to try to go through the Shodan test. We go through other tests quite often, but we haven't been through the black belt test in a long time. It's a very complicated test. It is close to what the JKA used to have, or especially what Nishiyama used to have. It has a few variations in it for the Shuhari Institute. But basics, no matter what, are good for you. So, here we go. The first one is a Kizamizuki and then step forward Sanbanzuki, triple punch. So I'll go this way just a little bit so you can see. You guys go forwards and backwards. Usually starts in a fighting position, so everybody please do that. On the first count, we're going to jab and shift our front foot out. You're going to go 1, and then step forward, triple punch. 2, head, stomach, stomach, and then recover in. 1, head, 2, head, stomach, stomach. Recover. 1, 2, head, stomach, stomach. All right, go back, give yourself a little room. This shifting forward and jabbing is one of my favorite techniques in all of karate because it teaches you so many things. So the big thing I want to get out of this is that your body mass, your weight, is driving forward, and yet your drawing arm and your squeeze is going back down to your heel. So I find it a really cool sensation that your body extends and yet contracts. So it will help if you start with your feet. It will help if you pull your drawing arm all the way through your center, all the way down to your back foot. So there's a tendency for people to go 1 and reach, and their shoulders up, their butts behind, and this is weak. And I want to change that, but underneath, this drives 1, pull all the way down into your foot, 2, pull, pull, pull. You'll feel it all the time on your back heel. Give it a try to the count. Arms up. Use your back leg, your back right leg. 1, drive into the center of you. 2, head, stomach, stomach. Recover in. Use your back leg and drive. 1, 2, head, stomach, stomach. Recover in. One more. 1, head, 2, head, stomach, stomach. Recover in. All right, back up again. I thought of a thing. Can't remember what it was. Maybe it'll come back to me. Here we go. 1, 2. Recover in. 1, 2. Recover in. 1, 2. Recover in. And back up. I thought of the thing. This is what. So this next thing is a training concept that is a little bit of an over-exaggeration. And its goal is to make sure you're using your legs to initiate and to dominate your technique. So it's going to feel like your elbow is here in the middle of you. I'm going to shock with my legs, which moves my body, and my arm goes 1, 2. It bounces off. Ba, 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 ba. Now I don't really want you to delay it that much, but if you practice it a little bit, it'll help you relax your shoulder. It'll help you get the sequence of motion. In reality, they're almost at the same time. You don't wait, but there is a cool sensation of 1, 2 that will help you learn. So let's try that a little bit. Left arm, left leg forward. Use your legs. Shock, and then let your arm go. 1, bump, bump. Step and punch. 2, head, stomach, stomach. Recover in. 1, 2. Recover in. 1, 2. And back. So the triple punch thing is going okay. Maybe I saw Malia and James could use it a little better. Make sure that after this punch, when you step forward, your opposite hip drives forward to meet your fist. So the first punch is that way, not that way. That way, driving into your fist. And then the next two kind of bounce through your system. Pull, pull, pull. So quite often, Malia, you end up two turned. Drive it straight, like your leg is actually pushing more, more, more. Yes, like that. And then you pull your drawing arm at the same time. And it should get tighter. Kinda. Your shoulders are moving too much. So what I want to say though is most of you from Rachel and John Noel, are already doing that, and of course it can always improve. It can always get better. It can always get sharper, but you're working on the right thing, so that's awesome. A couple more times, we'll go to the next thing. 1, 2, drive, drive, drive. Recover in. 1, 2, drive. Recover in. 1, 2. Cover in. And give yourself more room. Try 1 count, all actions, but don't rush it. So, I don't have John here to punch. It's so sad. If you do this part right, if you shock your feet, you let your body drive into the target, and you pull together and stay relaxed, at the point of contact, you can feel your bone and your heel hitting the target. It is a really, really cool sensation. Bah! It'll shock through the guy. When people start to go 1 count, they skip that part and kind of go. they don't ever finish the technique. So please go slow enough to complete each action and worry about going faster later. Here we go. 1. Recover. 2. Recover. 3. Recover. Back. Do it again. Let's see how it goes. 1. Recover. 2. 3. All right, back. So, James and Malia, but especially Malia, you're still not getting the idea that this hip pushes forward to meet this hand. And that's the end of rotation forever during this combination for the triple punch. Oddly, it is similar in the jab, but your hips are sideways instead of straight. But this still kind of feels like it reaches forward to meet your jab, because if it goes the other way, it does nothing for you. There's nothing to squeeze. So on the straight, and then to keep it straight, bump, bump. Nope, you turn right now. Straight. Yep. Yep. That's what it's like. It's like Kiba dache. Pa, pa, pa. You don't go like that, or you shouldn't. Some people do. Alrighty, next combination. Backwards, Aguyuki. Kizami Maigiri Gyatsugi. This is so easy. Alright, left leg forward. Fighting position is fine. Step backwards, rising block. 1. You're going to front kick with your front leg and then counter punch. 2. Stepping backwards. 1. 2. One more. 1. 2. And move back up. So ideally, if you have twisted your hip and kept your back leg slightly bent, developed a base here, the kick is downward, 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 and then you punch. There is no up and back, and then you kick, and then you go in. Just hit, drive, go. So keep that in mind. Left leg in front, stepping backwards. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey, move forward again. So, different places definitely teach things differently, and sometimes though, I find it surprising when it seems to totally diverge from just basic Shotokan. So I was teaching a seminar once many years ago. There was a guy there who was a purple belt, so a couple of years of training, and we were working on rising block counter punches that I break into the count. We go 1, 2, 3, like that. We've done that a million times. And after the seminar, he said he's never done that before. So how have you been in Shotokan for 2 years, 2.5 years, and never done a rising block counterpunch before? I don't get the whole, what were they doing? If they're, what, no basics? No, I mean, if you watch the beginner classes in Japan, they go 1, 2, because everybody does. Funakoshi did, everybody does. But not at that guy's school. So, don't feel bad if I do something different than you do. Just fix it to do it my way. Here we go. Stepping backwards. I don't care what hand's out in front. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Move up. This is what I noticed in me that made a big difference. You want to pull your body together with your drawing arm, and then throughout the kick, maybe wind it a little more, and this elbow pulls down a little more throughout the kick. So I'm already stable, and then I get more stable as I kick, where a lot of people get way less stable when they kick and then they try to go. So an indicator of that is usually your back arm, your drawing arm. If this comes out when you kick, probably this happened at the same time. Your chest buckled. So to compensate, wind it in a little extra. Wind, 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 go. And it'll get easier. You're building potential during the kick. James, that was 1,000 times better. That was still better. Not that it was bad before, but could you feel where it helps you? And Rachel, I think your cat is getting better every time. Here we go. Moving backwards. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Hey up. I rest. So Stuart, when your right leg is in back, it moves better when you counterpunch. When your left leg is in back, it barely moves. It's more of a vibration. Yep. And it will help if you can screw your leg down into your front thigh. And then that front thigh has a direction going down 45 degrees. I found that helpful for me. So there's kind of two ideas there. One is that I'm screwing this down into my front leg, right? And the second one is you quit too soon. And I'm saying you, but just generically you. People all the time, they go, okay, I got it. And they never finished that enough to feel it hit the target. And I have the same complaint about people that punch this way because they never really punched. They didn't commit, they didn't twist their hip, they just went like that. And so the two things that I do is screw my hip into my front thigh and see if I can feel the pressure hit my front foot. They're not quite the same thing. So this is screwing in, but then you have to feel it settle into your front foot, heavier. So anyway, try one count. Move up. You put your left leg in front and your counterpunch out. 1, block, kick, punch. 2, block, kick, punch. 3, and move up. So on the internet, which is where all true wisdom comes from, there is a big argument against the drawing arm. And I agree that it is better if you're hanging on to something and punching than just to pull it back for no reason. But on a totally different thing, for body dynamics, it really helps you learn stuff. It helps you learn stability, leverage. And in this particular series, if you're having trouble front kicking, it just doesn't want to come, increase this pressure. Pull! And the other side will come right up as long as this side did its job and you're pulling down into your leg. So the people that have decided that they don't want to punch with their hand down here, they give it up too soon. Those same people decide, you know, the real kata application doesn't look anything like the kata. They lean forward a lot. It doesn't look like the kata. I mean, you're just making up your own kickboxing style. You're not particularly improving your... I think there is a superiority to any technical style. If you want to do Goju-ryu, Wado-ryu, Shotokan, Shido-ryu, anything that has some precision to it, any of the Uechi-ryu, the Isshin-ryu, learn their form, their system, the style, and work at it until you start to figure out how it works. Don't just do it twice and say, oh, that's silly, I'm not going to do that anymore, because you won't learn what was in their style. And the same is true of Kung Fu styles, Tai Chi styles. So I'm not ragging on any one style. I'm just saying people give it up too quick before they even understand what it is. At the same time, if you're doing what you're doing for 10 years or 20 years, don't understand it, can't make it work, maybe it's time to switch to something else, or a different teacher, or a different philosophy, or a different something that gives you a new insight, because some people don't get any better after years and years of training. I'm sure it's very frustrating for them. Oh yeah, that was the drawing arm. So let's do that. Moving backwards, pull your drawing arm harder. And key eye on the punch as long as we're doing this. Ready? 1, eagle, 3, hey, good job. Outside block elbow straight, back to straight counter punch. All right, here we go. I am very opinionated about how this should be done also, so I'm sure it'll go great. I'm going to go a little bit sideways. Stepping forward, Sotuki this way in the front stance. 1. In and out with your footwork, elbow strike. 2. Use your legs, back fist strike. 3. Use your drawing arm. 4. Counter punch it in the front stance. Moving forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, back up. Here, try it again. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no step, James. Try to listen to Malia and pay more attention. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stuart, finish your punch in your legs. Yep, relax your shoulders. Back, but I guess here. So everybody here is doing a good stance, and everybody here is doing a good stance. So yay. I want to tell you to match your elbow and your knee. In, out. Okay, so you're here in a solid position. Coil across and drive out at the same time. Okay, now keep your shoulder down. So this is the harder part. But it's similar. You probably won't get this. Remember I said how cool this was, that your body expands, or that your bones expand, but your muscles pull backwards? It's the same thing here. I'm going to drive this way, but while I do that, the pressure increases to my back leg all the way through my system. So when I get there, it's solid not apart that way where it's all up and light. So a lot of this doesn't have to be perfect. Elbows are really hard. Your weight is good. But instead of this way, pull your shoulder down, use your lat, use your pec, use your body weight to hit with. So we're just going to try those two things a couple times. Step forward, outside block. 1, in and out. 2, in, out. Pull down into your back leg. Just continue forward from here with the outside block. 1, 2, in, out. 1, 2, in, out. That's better. Okay, here's the next thing. This is easier if I was there to touch you and provide resistance or hit you with a stick, whatever. But when people do this, they get a lot of tension on the top part of their arm and it doesn't come back. And if you have generated the shock from your legs, this will feel soft like a rope. It won't feel like you have to muscle it. So more legs during this part will help. But the recoil is kind of the vital part. If I had pressure here, I would pull down against it into my back leg. So it would look like 1, 2, 1, 2. Some of you look like 1, 2, and it's stuck up here. Let it sink all the way down into her back leg. Just try a couple back fist strikes. And as we've talked about before, there are a dozen different ways to do this. Different paths, different strikes. For right now, I want you to do kind of a 45-degree over the top and then come back to here. 45 over the top, come back to here. For women, I hear, you will be happier if you leave a space here. Do not hit yourself in the boob. It will not be good. So you have to leave it out there a ways, not in tight. Try your other arm. You got your elbow strike with your pressure down. Use your legs, out back, out back, out back. Sink into your feet on the recoil, James and Malia. Relax your shoulders. James, you're trying too hard to go out. Just out back. Hey, that was better. Now exhale and sink into your feet on the recoil, just like a front kick or anything else. Stuart, you're a little bound. Relax. And then just stop it up here somewhere. Bump, bump. Don't let it drop. Bump, bump. Yep, that was close. Oop, now it's tight again. Relax your shoulder, keep your elbow a little higher. The other thing this is like, I don't know if we'll get this today, in a roundhouse kick, if you let your knee drop, it kind of goes this way. And you don't get any pressure to your support leg and you can't continue on. If you keep your knee up and squeeze into the floor, you'll get a clean pressure like the front kick. Expand, contract, move forward. Drop your knee. 1, 2, oh, I don't have any pressure. Roundhouse kick. Expand, contract, move forward. Drop your knee. So your back fist strike is the same problem, Stuart specifically. You're dropping your shoulder so low you don't get the feel of your body contracting. Ba, ba, just stop it up here. Relax your shoulder, keep your elbow higher. Elbow, elbow, elbow higher. This elbow. Yes! Now, Jean-Noel, squeeze across your body just a little bit more, across your tummy on the recoil. There you go. You just did it a little late. Yeah, it's better. So this is one of those techniques that when you do it right does not feel like anything, and when you hit something, it's rock solid. As long as your shoulders are down, your body's connected, it's a way cool technique. All right. Switching from here to here. What I do not want you to do, let's start with this. Let's say you're doing the knife hand block spear hand strike. And you're going from a back stance to a front stance. What I do not want you to do is go 1, 2. What I instead want you to do is use your center, use your center, use your center, and then twist, move your foot. So I'm here, shock, boom, the shock moves your foot. You can try that a couple times. We'll actually come to that combination in just a moment. That's good, John Noel. That's good, Yufeng, except in the knife hand block, your front hip is a little high. So build the pressure down. Yep. Hey, that was good, everybody. So you can tell the difference, right? There is a difference between going 1, 2, and 1. So you want that now here after this. If you are reaching with your arm, which is fine, or if you left this out there, which is also fine, this will help transfer the weight to your back foot. So you can kind of go 1, reach, 2, and that'll make it easier. Or you can eventually go 1, 2. That's also okay. I usually don't teach people that right away because then they start skipping the back fist strike altogether as the dynamic, and I want it to be in there. All right, let's try the combination. Moving forward, outside block. 1, in and out with your footwork. 2, back fist strike. 3, pressure into your feet, spin your hip. 4, 1, twist your hip. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, go back. So everybody again is transferring really good. Stuart, I noticed that you're inconsistent. If you remember to leave your elbow up, it actually goes pretty good. You start doing this again because that was your habit. You don't develop the pressure, the compression that I want. So that being said, sometimes there is a training progression to teach a principle that after you understand the principle, you can skip that part and go right through it. So, an example is me telling you to go 1, 2, and then after you start to get this, you get to go 1, 2. And it's easy, but your body still did all of the shock, 1, 2. I didn't just skip it, which is what happens when people don't do the dynamic. And the same is true of the recoils on any kick. Quite often, for instance, on a side thrust, I teach people to go 1, 2, 3, because it's the easiest way to get that compression. And if you don't make them do that, they tend to go 1, 2, and they just let their leg fall, and then they're a target. But if you understand this compression, you can do it differently. You could go 1, 2, 3, and never come all the way back. You still have the pressure through your legs, and you still drove. So sometimes the outside stuff teaches you to do the right thing, but after you get the principle, it doesn't look the same. You could do it differently and it's just fine. So if somebody is sharp enough to see the principle, to see, do you understand how to move, it'll be relatively obvious most of the time. Sometimes it's not. But it is too easy to do the outside moves and think I'm doing it right, or to see somebody not do the outside moves and say they're doing it wrong. Neither one of those might be right. You might be doing perfect form and have no body compression. They might be doing terrible form and have lots of body power behind them. I have noticed that with the more advanced masters. They look like they're doing nothing, and they've got so much power. And some of them over-exaggerate to show you what it's supposed to look like. But when they do it, they go bang, and he drops the guy with no effort on their part, supposedly. It looks like that. Any questions about the stuff we did so far? James and Malia, do you have basics like that in your place? Just combinations like this?
Yes, but pretty different, similar.
That's all right. I suspect that my emphasis on body dynamics is different because it's different to most people that come from somewhere else. They go, oh my God, nobody ever told me that before. Because all they told them was to turn your hip and pull your hand back, keep your head, outside stuff. So I care much more about the inside stuff, even for beginners. And I used to get criticized for that. They don't need to know that. Just tell them to bend their knee and twist their hip more. And what I found is people would get to brown belt or Shodan and have no idea that there's supposed to be more to the technique. And they'd get stalled. They just get stuck there and they quit out of frustration. Where if I tell them from the beginning that there's more, you have to move from your center every time you go somewhere, they start thinking about it. And it might not happen right away, but in a month or a year or 5 years, something will start to kick in where they go, oh, I get it. So that's why I emphasize it. I think it's important. It is much less important for big, strong, athletic people. It's much more important for small people, thin people, old people, people who just want to learn good technique that will preserve their body for a long time. So eventually, we will all fit in this category of not being young, strong, and athletic. Alrighty. They do a different order than I do, but we'll do it their way. Knife hand block, front kick, spear hand strike. So it's similar to what we already practiced. Back up, step forward, left hand is fine, knife hand block, back stance, koku's dache. Again, your hips are already sideways, you're just going to leave them that way and tilt to snap, and then drive forward into a front stance. 2. So that's 1, 2, kick, go. Stepping forward, 1, knife hand block. 2, kick, go. 1, block. 2, kick, go. Let's try the same thing backwards. 1, knife hand block. 2, kick, go. 1, 2. Left leg, okay. Forward. All right, F talk for just a second. So moving backwards, when I was a lower belt, they always used to tell me how easy this was to do a back stance and then kick. For me, it was not easy. I'm like, I couldn't pick my leg up, I couldn't kick, I couldn't turn. But it turns out they're right. If you are making pressure down into your support leg using your drawing arm, the leverage here is easy, incredibly simple. There's nothing complicated about it at all. This is maybe easiest to find moving backwards because you automatically put your weight back here and then you kick and then you go. So going forward, I want you to do the same thing. Use your drawing arm to pull down into your back leg so that that becomes easy. Not, don't let your weight travel forward where now it's hard to kick because you can't get your weight off it. So anyway, left leg forward, step forward, knife hand block. 1, front kick, spear hand. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Back. Oh wait, we're gonna go backwards, sorry. 1. Stewart, most often, you're out of alignment this way in a back stance. So if you could straighten up your whole torso. 2, kick, strike. 1, 2, 1, 2. James and Malia. After this, which still needs work to make more pressure, you have to do a real recoil. So both of you are dropping your knee a little too soon, and there was no squeeze. So pressure, pressure, go. Bah! It'll be easier if you break it down that way. Jean-Noel and Stuart, you're doing pretty good on that. Yufeng, you're doing awesome. Keep it up. One more time, forwards and backwards. Back. Ready? 1, the whole thing. Block, kick, punch. 2, boom. Knee up. 3. Moving backwards. 1, 2, 3. Very good. I think this next combination will be our last one, even though we're only halfway through the test. Stupid test. Inside block, front kick, jab at the same time, counter punch. I actually like this one. It's very similar to what we just did. You have to do an inside and a front stance instead of a back stance. Use your drawing arm to pull down. Use that jabby thing that we did at the beginning, but you have to kick and punch at the same time. 2, 3. Here we go. Start with your left leg in front. 1, block and hold. Figure out how to get down. Kick and punch. 2, kick, punch. 1, 2, kick, punch. 1, 2. We can do, let's back up so we can all see. Back up and do it again. This, remember at the beginning I talked about using your legs and feeling your elbow bounce? That's in there. 1, bounce, 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 go. If you punch too soon here, you're out of, there's one shockwave that launches your kick and your punch. It's an odd thing. So this is primary. This is along for the ride. So don't try to make it too strong. It's already got shock to it. Keep your shoulder down, keep your body going, you'll be fine. Try it again. Left leg forward is fine. 1, block, kick, punch. 2, 3, kick, punch. Back, again. Ready? Jean-Noel, you can move back and do it again. 1, block, kick, punch. That's better. 2, block, kick, punch. 3, block, kick, punch. Twist your hip more, Jean-Noel. Yep. Stuart, I said before, sometimes you leave your hip behind. Because you know you're going to have to kick, you're doing it a little bit extra. So you kind of go up, because I'm going to have to go back in a second, and you're way back here waiting for that kick to come. So I'd rather have you complete this like you don't have a care in the world, and then try to figure out how to kick and punch from your committed position. And the reason I think that's the reason is because I used to do that all the time, not just for this, but for many techniques. Better? Yeah, that was better. Forward, forward, forward. Yep. Forward. Yeah, so that was much more committed on each technique. That was better. So no reason to rush if you're not reinforcing good habits. Young people like to go with speed as soon as I can. Okay, I did it twice. Can I go fast now? No. No. It should be more like a 90-10 thing. 90% of your training, slow, half speed, maybe a little 2/3, and then 10% with speed. And if you have spent the slow time setting up your position, driving, when you go fast, that's what will happen. It's not any different, it's just quicker, which I, for some reason, was very hard for me to understand. When I went with speed, I just got tighter. And it drove me insane. And to be honest, I was watching somebody who was very advanced, and it looked like they were sloughing. It looks like they were going ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then they went fast, and it was that relaxed. It was, whoa! It was like, holy cow, did you see that? And it broke something, a barrier in my mind, where I don't have to try so hard. I just have to be perfect, more perfect on what I do, and then do that a little quicker. And it made a huge difference in my training. So it got to be, we used to do lots of combinations back and forth across the floor, kumite combinations, random combinations, test basics. And there is a group of people who is always slow or doesn't try very hard, depends on what you think. There's a group of people that goes faster because they skip half the stuff. Yeah! And they didn't really do any of those techniques. And then there would be the people that do full techniques and they're still going faster. And it would blow you away. So you got to kind of pick your path. And I'm big on finishing each move, which is kind of what kata's about, right? You kind of go 1, 2. You don't start going 1, 2. See that? It was fast. No, you didn't even finish the block. It was that little tiny thing. So, and then it's kind of a Zen thing, or Mushin, where if you try faster and harder, it makes it worse. And if you try calmer and more determined, more subtle, which is Fudoshin, there's like 4 shins, that will carry you through. It'll make you persevere. And this is true in kata, kumite, testing, competition, just basics. So anyway, any questions about the stuff we did today? I'm glad that you all came. Today is Wednesday? Is today Wednesday? Monday. All right. Everybody come on back on Wednesday.
It's only Monday. We'll be back.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.